salam sejahtera to Dr. Sama and all my fellow friends in tutorial PGT 202E. So today, I am Nur Ilya Maisara binti Muhammad Fazil from Group 2 would like to present you the topic of 6th level of cognitive domain by Taxonomy Bloom, which is Bloom's revised taxonomy. So, okay, before I'm starting my presentation, I would like to ask you guys, do you know what is Bloom's revised taxonomy? Okay, it is about the changing of the name of the for information, Benjamin Bloom have rearranging the pyramid from the higher level to the lower level within the order. Okay, the learner must start at the first stage. Okay, with understanding. Later I will explain it to you. Okay, from understanding to the next level. Okay, before they master the next level, they have to definitely finish the first level first, to ensure that the learning session is going to be great. It's going to be a normal learning session because the first stage is very necessary due to taxonomy Bloom's pyramid. So every teachers need to know their students' level by doing evaluation, assessment, tests, or so on, as we have learned in our previous topic in last week. So let's move to the what is taxonomy Bloom theory. It is a set of classification principles or structure, and domain simply means we call it simply like category. Okay, put in your mind that taxonomy Bloom's race taxonomy is one pyramid that consists of 6 level of cognitive domain for students to master in their learning session. So okay, what is cognitive? Cognitive is about intellectual capability, knowledge, thinking techniques. Okay, so you have to put in mind that cognitive is very okay. Now I'm going to discuss about the first and the second level of cognitive learning theory in taxonomy Bloom's chart. So the first one is remembering. Okay, the first level of the chart is remembering. So every student need to remember whatever topic, whatever subjects that the teachers is teaching in front of the class, files, notes, labels, lists, or so on. Okay, so that we can define that the students is still remember. For example, let's say that we are teaching for a science subject in a class. So why not we test them about the remembering topic about what we have taught them last week about. Okay, let's say that you pick one name of the student in the class and you ask them about for example, what is the name of the parts of the body that you taught them last week for this week class? We can see and test whether they are still remember it or not. Okay, we need to focus at this level first before we let them to go through for the next and next level, because this level is very important for ensure the students cognitive. Okay, for the second level of the taxonomy Bloom theory, we are moving to understanding. Okay, after your student is remembering. Okay, let's say remembering, for example, the parts of the body of human in the science subject. Okay, so you can teach them to go through to the next level, which is understanding. Okay, when they are remembering, of course they will understand it, but not really. Okay, you have to understand what is understanding is the real thing about comprehending the meaning, translation, interpolation, and interpretation of instruction of what you give to them. Okay, for example, you ask them to label the parts of the body. Okay, to see that whether they are understand it or not. Okay, or you just give a few instructions to them to do exercise in the class. Okay, you can see that whether they are understanding or not based on what they are doing, whether it is true or not compared to other friends of them. Okay, we have to know the keywords of understanding is about comprehends, converts, defense, distinguish. Okay, one more thing about understanding. Okay, you or we as a teacher can test the students of understanding by ask them about, okay, what is the difference between this thing and this thing, or you can ask them to classify things in the subjects, or maybe ask them what is the different. Okay, this is the way how to know about their understanding in the classroom.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So I would like to continue the presentation about Bloom revised taxonomy, point number 3, which is applying. Applying means we use the information or a skill in a new situation to solve something, to solve the problem that we have. For example, for the physics student, if they learn about the Newton law, they will know about the Newton first law, second law, and third law. So from that law, they will carry out something to apply to solve their problem. So from that, we can understand what is applying. For another word that we can know, it is applying. They will use the word calculate, carry out, classify, complete, compute, demonstrate, examine, execute, and etc. As you can see on slide.
Alright, the next one is evaluate, which is make a judgment based on criteria and standards. For example, teacher asks learner to justify a specific decision or find an effective solution to a problem while backing up that decision with a justification. For example, me as a teacher, I can make a test or I can make a quiz to my student. By that, I can justify which one my student is a bit slow in the class and which is my student is perform in the class. By that, I can isolate some of student to give more attention in the class. Alright, next is create. Create is put elements together to form a new coherent or functional words, reorganize element in a new pattern or structure. For examples, a teacher asks learner to create something either tangible or conceptual. For example, as a teacher, I can make some activities with my student, which is I can which is I can divide them into a few groups, like 5 or 4 groups, and then I will give them a task like every group have the task like make a mind map with their own creativity. After that, I will ask them to present to all their friends. Okay, the keywords for create is arrange, assemble, buy, collect, combine, compile, create, design, and many more, as you can see at this slide.
Besides of taxonomy Bloom's cognitive levels, we also have 5 levels of affective domain based on Kraftwerk model. So let's go through for it. Affective learning is demonstrated by behaviors. Okay, indicating attitudes of the student of such as awareness, their interest in class, attention, concern. So, in this point, you have to recognize that your students focus or not in your class. Okay, let's say as a teacher, we at least have to set learning outcomes that fits the this level lah. Okay, whether your student is receiving the lesson in the class or not. Okay, for at least you have to set that okay, at least they know the existence of the subject, the existence of the things in the topic you teach them for the first time, for the first day, so that you can set a new goals, a new aim for the next class of the subject. Okay, for example, okay, for receiving in class, you can see that your student can receive, okay, what other people said, what other people mind for them. It can be said that when your students receive what other people said, what other people opinions, okay, this shown that your student is ready to receive something. Okay, so let's move to another or next level of effective learning, which is responding. Okay, so in the classroom, we may have a lot of students that might be different. Okay, so some of them will respond to us, or some of them just mute themselves because of many factors. Okay, so if you want to know that our student is responding or not, we can just see at how they question us about the subjects, about the topic, or else, okay, about how they respond when we are asking the whole class about the question that we have learned today. Okay, so we can recognize which student will be able to raise their hand to answer the question. This is what we call responding. Okay, so I will pass to my friend for the next level.
Okay, so for the next level of effective domain based on Krathwohl model is about valuing. Valuing is concerned with the worth or value a student attached to a particular object, phenomena, or behavior. This range in degree from the simpler commitment, like we assume responsibility for the effective functioning of the group. Okay, valuing is based on the internalization of the set or specific value, but clue to this value are expressed in their student over their behavior. So the learning outcome in this area are concerned with the behavior that is consist stable enough to make the value clearly identified to be able instructional objectives are commonly classified under attitude, and appreciation will fall into this category, which is valuing. For example, for the example of this valuing, like accepting the idea that integrate mind is a good way to learn, participating in campus drive, demonstrated belief in the democratic process, and so on. The illustrative verb that we can use for valuing is complete, describe, differentiation, explain, follows from initiation, and so on. So We move to the next level, which is organization. Organization is concerned with bringing together different values, resolving conflict between them, and beginning the building of an internally consistent value system. Thus, the emphasis is on comparing, relating, and synthesizing value. For the learning outcome, may be concerned with the conceptualization of value, which is recognize the responsibility of each individual for improving human relation. With that, it's in instructional objective relating to the development of a philosophy of life will fall into this category, which is organization, as you can see. So for example, for this level, which is organization, is recognizing your own ability. You must know what you have and what you can do to improve yourself, to organize yourself neatly, and it also include responsibility from one behavior, and that explain the role of systematic planning in solving problem. So for another word that we can know, which is alter, arrange, combine, complete, define, explain, and so on, as you can see. So that's all for me that I can explain for you, and I pass to my friend for the last level.
The next one is characterizations. Characterization is the highest of the effective domain. It is about internalizing values. It means acting consistently in accordance with the set of value you have internalized and your characterization of philosophy about life. The individual has a value system that has controlled his or her behavior for a sufficiently long time for him or her to develop a characteristic lifestyle. The behavior is pervasive, consistent, and predictable. Learning outcome at this level cover a broad range of activities, but the major emphasis is on the fact that the behavior is typical of characteristic of the student. Instructional objective that are concerned with the student's general pattern of adjustment, like personal, social, emotion, would be inappropriate here. And illustrative verbs for characterizations is act, discriminate, display, influence, listen, modifies, performs, practice, propose, qualifies, question, revise, serve, solve, use, and verifies. For an example, for characterization is you spend time with your family. The next one is a person life style influence reaction to many different kinds of situations. And the third is you refrain from using profanity. And the last one is you make friends based on personality and not looks. That's an example for characterizations. Alright, that's all, and thank you.